First time, watch. So they asked Trump, hey, why did you pardon people who assaulted first responders? They literally beat cops with the American flag. They took their shields away. They beat them with it. They slammed them up against the door sills and crushed them. We know this is fucking true, but we're at the stage of 1984 where you have to believe the emperor instead of your own fucking eyes, because despite what we all saw with our own eyes, despite the fact we saw them assault first responders and cops, they were the ones who got assaulted, folks. The criminals are actually the heroes, and the cops are the bad guys, at least according to Trump.
You said you didn't want to honor first responders today, but you pardoned hundreds of people who assaulted first responders. Why did you do that?
Look, he's trying to pretend like he didn't hear, because he's trying to form a thought in his head, but you heard him. This is very transparent.
You are going to meet with first responders today, but you pardoned people who assaulted first responders.
No, I pardoned people that were assaulted themselves.
No,
they were assaulted by our government. I pardoned J6 people who were assaulted by our government. That's who assaulted.
So, yep, you beat our cops, but you are heroes. Reality doesn't exist anymore. Reality is what I say it is, and he's right. He controls reality now. And then another way he's controlling reality is while he's purging our government, they're making sure every one of the government, even if they don't believe it, they say that they believe that the January 6th was an inside job. I guess it was Antifa or whatever. I don't know why you would pardon everybody if it was Antifa, or it was the FBI or something. So they're asking them questions specifically, and the only way you can get hired in the Trump administration is if you first admit that you believe the election was stolen in 2020, and also you believe January 6th was an inside job, folks. So just rewriting of history, the most dystopian shit right in our fucking faces, but what else is new? America, baby. And then Brett asked him, what are you going to do to bring grocery prices down? Hey, eggs. You can't even buy eggs anymore. Grocery prices are going through the fucking roof. What did you promise? Day one, you were going to bring it down. You're going to solve the egg problem. You're going to cure inflation. Day one, you said it. What are you going to do? Here's his response.
All goes to plan. When do you think families will be able to feel prices going down? Groceries, energy, or are you kind of saying to them, hang on, inflation may get worse until it gets better?
No, I think we're going to become a rich... Look, we're not that rich right now. We owe $36 trillion. That's because we let all these nations take advantage of it.
You literally added $8 trillion to the deficit while you were in office, the more any president ever has. But continue, please.
Same thing, like $200 billion with Canada. We owe $300. We have a deficit with Mexico of $350 billion.
That's because we keep buying more of their products than they buy of us. So we're punishing them because we are addicted to their products, basically. The reason we have a deficit with Canada is because we buy more energy. It's 100% energy deficit because we use way more fucking energy and we won't stop buying their energy. So we're going to punish our own people because we won't stop buying energy. Make it make sense.
I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to let that happen.
So nothing. He's going to do nothing, folks. He's completely fucking full of shit. He doesn't care about you. It doesn't affect him. Let it all burn is basically his answer. Then he asked him, hey, what are you doing to bring the country together? What do you think he said? What do you think he said when they asked him what he's doing to bring the country together?
All the swing states. Have you thought about how to try to bring the country together, to reach out or to find common ground? Have you thought about that or how that might go?
I'd love to do it, but I would say this. We have to come together, but to come together, there's only one thing that's going to do it, and that's massive success. Success will bring the country together, but it's hard. And I say it's hard. I just signed a bill allowing for women not to have to be punished by men in sports. In other words, men are not going to be allowed to play in sports.
Yeah, how you going to bring the country together? Trans. I punish the trans people. That'll bring us all together. Yeah, that 100% of the trans people. Those two girls in Mississippi who are playing sports as trans women. You punish them. That's not only bring us all together, isn't it? Just, holy God. We don't deserve nice things, folks. The dumbest country in goddamn history. And then more than 800,000 people have lost $2 billion in the Trump meme coin scheme, folks. He's made untold millions of dollars. Right now, his holdings are worth $20 billion. the most corrupt act in the history of presidential politics, the day before becoming president, put out a meme coin so he could take unlimited bribes from anybody in the world, inflating his value to $20 million and $20 billion in one day, and almost nothing being said about it on news media, folks. Just, what can you say at this point? Nothing makes sense anymore. Nobody gives a shit. But good, if you lost money in Trump's meme coin, it's Darwinian at this point. At least you don't have money for your stupid kids anymore. So maybe your genetics will end, because that's what deserves to happen to you. And then apparently he's taking over the Kennedy Center board. I guess the Kennedy Center is where they have a bunch of plays and musicals and stuff. And Donald Trump hates it because, you know, talented people usually are more left-leaning. A lot of them are gays and stuff, and they have stuff that they're attracted to, but not Trump, man. He wants to, I guess, decide what plays get held, what musical gets held. And they ask him a straight-up question. What is it about the performances you don't like? Here's his answer.
Why do you want to be chairman of the Kennedy Center board?
Because I want to make sure it runs properly. We don't need woke at the Kennedy Center. We don't need, some of the shows were terrible. They're a disgrace that they were even put on. So I'll be there until such time as it gets to be running right.
Have you seen any shows there? How do you know they're terrible?
I didn't go. No, I got reports it was so bad. I didn't go.
I hadn't seen them, but I know they're bad. Hey, yeah, I didn't read this book, but it's a fucking terrible book. Nobody should read it. I'm going to become the editor-in-chief of all books, but I'm never going to read any of them. Yeah, of course, I didn't watch it. I just heard they're woke. I got to stop it, baby. And then he actually hired somebody to take it over. HomoCon Rick Grinnell, hired as Kennedy Center director. No more drag shows and other propaganda. Yay! Fuck the drag shows. Because everybody knows that drag shows are anti-American somehow. Don't even think about it, folks. I mean, drag is pretty American. That's been going on since, World War I, World War II, where soldiers dressed as women to entertain other soldiers. Drag's been going on forever in this fucking country. Literally has nothing to do with anti-Americanism, but sure, why not? You guys got to justify your bigotry to yourself somehow. So why not pretend like you're patriots for being fucking bigots? And the Pentagon just announced, remember I told you guys this happened. It happened so much quicker than I told you, though. I wasn't expecting it to happen this quick. So last week they announced that they were swapping out one seat of the press corps. They're going to get rid of they're going to rotate out the New York Times and Washington Post, all the big left-leaning, even though they're not, what the White House considers left-leaning journalism organizations. They're going to rotate them out and have chuds in there that will ask softball questions. The less respected journalists you have in there, the less you have to take their questions, the more you can take softball questions. And I told you guys, this is just a trial balloon. What they're going to do is they're going to do more and more of this until eventually they have maybe one left-leaning service in there, but all the rest of them right-wing services. And the one left-leaning one they can just disregard as, they're just libtards. Don't listen to them. And they had nothing but softball questions, so they can have the illusion that they're given interviews, that they're given press conferences, but actually not answering any tough questions anymore, even though they never answer tough questions to begin with. All they do is, if you ask them tough questions, they avoid the question. They change the subject, so it's stupid anyway. But they don't even want to have to go through that. But now they're doing even more of them, folks. I told you, it was just the beginning. The Pentagon just announced that they would double the number of news organizations removed from physical offices to make room for MAGA propaganda outlets. Out the New York Times, Politico, NPR, and the Washington Post, CNN. In Breitbart, the New York Post, the Washington Examiner, OAM, Newsmax, HuffPost, the Free Press. 9 out of 10 hard right-wing sources. So even more propaganda, the illusion of journalism. That's what they're giving us. And then the big new talking point this week is that Trump should be above the judicial branch. Trump should not have to answer to judges. We have checks and balances on our system. But since the Congress no longer is a check or a balance to Donald Trump, and the Supreme Court certainly isn't, some of the local smaller courts have become a check and balance. But now they're saying, nope, he's a dictator. He's allowed to do anything he wants to. The courts have no effect on us. Vance, judges aren't allowed to rule against Trump. Little baby Dr. Evil out there, Voldemort. Ruling against Trump is unconstitutional, he says. They're all saying that this week, folks. J.D. Vance, if a judge to tell a general how to conduct a military operation, that would be illegal. Yeah, just to be clear, they are circumventing Congress and now are saying they are going to circumvent the judiciary, which would just make Trump a dictator, which is something J.D. Vance already said was his plan. We already know this, folks, but they're not trying to hide it. And he already is a dictator pretty much. You know, America, as we know it, is already gone, so all this is rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic at this point. And then, from the lepers eating our face category, the MAGA tears category, this farmer who voted for Trump is about to lose his farm. And this video of him went viral everywhere.
I might lose my farm because of the government.
Good.
Oh, no. Who's to blame?
So they had a program out there called the EQIP program to better conserve farmland for agricultural use. We got a contract with them for $240,000, and we have bought different types of material. We've gotten paid out on some of it, but I now have $80,000 worth of material on me today and said, hey, I know we have this signed contract. We're not going to pay out on it.
I'm still waiting for you to say who's to blame.
And unless they lift this pause on payment, I'm going to lose this farm. The reason that they're not able to hold up the contract is our EQIP program is funded by the Inflation Reduction Act. Because of the executive orders.
Whose executive order did this?
There's a pause or a freeze on the funding through the Inflation Reduction Act, and they're not able to pay out on the stuff that we completed or anything going forward. Multiple farms are going to sink if we don't get traction on this and get those funds unfrozen.
It is weird how you never say who's to blame. But, considering the EQIP program was part of the Inflation Reduction Act, and that was brought to us by Biden, and now it's been halted by someone who said throughout the campaign that they wanted to terminate the IRA, I think it's important you say who fucking did it, because there is one specific administration who's trying to screw you out of that money.
Yeah,
and
but he won't.
It's not the last one. And while, of course, I don't know exactly who you voted
I do. He came out after this video was released and said he voted for Trump.
for, the fact that you don't actually say who's to blame for
Obviously,
this
he voted
says
for.
a lot.
Yep.
And I don't want anyone to lose.
Eat your cat food and die. That's all I got to say. Fuck you. You dumb piece of shit. Remember when J.D. Vance was all worried about the egg prices? Remember this? This is how they got elected, folks, with this bullshit.
Eggs, when Kamala Harris took office, were short of $1.50 a dozen. Now a dozen eggs will cost you around $4 thanks to Kamala.
Oh, no, they're like $13 some places in this country now, folks.
Harris's inflationary policies. Pennsylvania actually has seen some of the worst grocery price increases of the entire nation. And again, it's because she cast the deciding vote on the Inflation Explosion Act.
That's right, folks. It was Kamala Harris responsible somehow. The vice president, who has really no power, was responsible for the price of eggs. Just believe us. And suddenly, not only are eggs incredibly priced, but they're not even for sale anymore, folks. Egg supply update. Yeah, dear price of eggs, Trump voters. Not only aren't they any cheaper, there's a shortage because of the raging bird flu we're not getting any public information about because the Food and Safety and Public Health agencies responsible for that shit have been basically shut down. Bravo. But crickets, they never cared about this to begin with. That's why you don't argue with the conservatives. They don't give a shit about anything. They're just trying to waste your time. Nothing they say means anything, folks. They are the people of nothing. Don't argue with them. Shun them. Immediate block. Fuck them. Don't even try. And this is what Donald Trump's policies are getting us, folks. Apparently, in Canada these days, all over the place, stuff like this, made with 0% American cheese. They hate us now, folks. He's ostracized our closest allies, our biggest trading partners, and they're boycotting America all over the place, even though he caved on his tariffs fucking immediately. The damage has already been done, and this is all over the fucking world, folks. Boycotts of American products all over the place. U.S. Travel Association warns of economic tourism disaster after thousands of Canadian tourists canceled trips in protest. For read the comments, it's all kinds of Canadians saying that they were planning on trips to America and now they're canceling them. Or their businesses were planning and now they're canceling them. Everybody's avoiding us now. Nobody wants anything to do with this embarrassment of a country that we have. And fucking good. Who can blame you? Boycott us, baby. Nobody's ever deserved it more than our terrorist-ass fucking country with this goddamn goof running it. And, this was only 11 years ago. The Onion wrote this article. CIA uncovers Chinese plot to just sit back and enjoy collapse of the United States. And apparently that's what they're doing right now. Yun Sun in Foreign Affairs, Beijing assumes that Washington's own policies will dismantle the foundations of the U.S. global hegemony. Even if it creates a lot of turbulence in the process, China's top priority then is simply to weather the storm. Yep, sit by and watch us destroy ourselves, which we're going to do. We chose suicide. That's what we wanted, so that's what we're getting, baby. The end of the American empire. Hold on. And, didn't even offer me anything. Remember those big tariffs that, folks, according to Donald Trump, we need these tariffs. Our country was the richest ever when we have these tariffs on. We have to have them for the good of all America. Well, apparently, President Trump has temporarily reinstated a tariff loophole that allows packages worth less than $800 to enter the U.S. duty-free. So, yeah, President Xi didn't even offer to fake giving him anything. Trump just quietly surrendered in the dead of night because he's just trying to pretend like he's doing something. It's such obvious theater. Meanwhile, the guy that's about to be in charge of our FBI, it was announced, got paid $25,000 from a Russian firm to star in an anti-FBI film. A film that encouraged America to shut down the FBI. The guy that is going to run our FBI was paid thousands of dollars by Russians to make a video about shutting the FBI down. You can't make this shit up, folks. Just, okay. All right, America. All right, cool. You guys want to get crazy? Let's get fucking crazy, y'all. It's Russian Christmas, but good. I love it, actually.